Welcome to Wake the FM Up. It has been a season of love and hatred towards random callers, but I think in general it's just been pretty freaking fantastic. So welcome to our season finale. We're going to talk a little bit more about random stuff, but otherwise, welcome to the beginning.
Welcome everyone to our season finale of Wake the FM Up with Katie and the Hollander. It's been a great year of basically radio shows throughout the semester too.
Fantastic!
Fantastic! You know, we've got some TV editions like our season finale right now. Listen, we've got no guests on tonight. We've got no special singers. We've got no people to talk to. No one's going to be chiming in on Skype, Twitter, or Facebook.
It's just us.
It's just going to be us.
It's just our say. Just
our
stories.
Katie, it's our last show. Thoughts going into it?
Well, thoughts going into it so far are the fact that we're both holding glasses of beer.
And it's really strong beer, so if we do get drunk, it's for a good reason. It's because we've had a great run.
It's been a great
And I've lost
run.
my show notes.
Well,
it's okay. They're right here.
Okay. Well, we're just enjoying our beers during the show.
Yeah.
Because it's just the way it should be. The last day, just enjoy it.
Last show.
Just enjoy it all. So it's good.
Oh, it's good stuff. I love my
I
old
like to
English.
sip his beer, too.
What,
I just brushed my teeth.
Oh, that's good. Alright, so on the show tonight, we're going to be talking about the Junos. This girl right here. Okay, we'll get to it. We're coming up on the end of the year, so we're going to be talking about moving out of res and moving on to second year, the condo hunt. What we can say about that.
Yeah. I'm going to give a little bit of advice on to future first-year RTA students / first-year res students, what they can expect and good advice for them when they move in.
That's good. Also, our best moments from year one, and best moments of season one of Wake the FM Up.
Best and worst moments of year one, I think is more interesting.
Do you have worst moments?
Oh, I have worst moments.
I probably have worst moments.
I'm
That's
pretty
what
sure you have worst moments.
Put it in a thing. You know, put it in a thing. Think about it.
I'm already thinking about it.
All right. What else you got on your list?
I was gonna do a little bit of chat about April Fool's Day.
Oh, that's today.
It was today, and I did like 4 pranks, like 4 or 5 pranks today.
Okay.
They were all fantastic. Should we just tell you about them now?
Let's get right into this. Let's
get
into
it. Okay, so number 1, I was up till 3 o'clock. Oh, sorry. I was up till 3 o'clock last night. 3 o'clock in the morning, working on an English essay, and at the same time, my boyfriend was over. Okay. And he fell asleep watching a movie. So.
Boyfriend, come on.
So I'm like, boyfriend, it's April Fool's Day already. 3 o'clock in the morning of Friday, the April 1st. Yeah. And I decided I would tinfoil all of his stuff.
Oh my god.
So I tinfoiled all of his stuff. And then my roommate and I, we put saran wrap in front of my other roommate's door. So she walked into it this morning. And then
it worked?
Yeah, it worked. Like it was like you could see the saran wrap.
Yeah, but if you weren't knowing what you were looking for,
she was just booking it, just booked it right into it. She was like,
God.
"Oh, screw you guys!" So it was good. And
nice.
then I also made a scavenger hunt for my other roommate who, while she was like sleeping this morning, I like snuck her door room key out of her door and taped it to the ceiling.
Oh,
and then I put a little thing inside the slot that said. Freezer, and then she went to the freezer, and then there was something else that said under the table, so she went under the table. There's something else that said beside the fridge, and there's another thing that said ceiling, and then she was like running around trying to find it. She was locked out and had a shower. So
this is what Katie does when she's bored. She makes little scavenger hunts and tries to fuck with people.
It's nice. It's fun.
Any other pranks you pulled?
And one on my boyfriend's friend because we're going to a concert. We're all going to a concert tomorrow. And I told him that basically we didn't get the tickets that we were supposed to last night. And he was just like, oh no, what happened? Because I was like, oh, last night was messed. And he's like, oh, what happened? And I was like, well, basically, like, Mark and I went to go meet with this girl, and then she ended up being so drunk, and, like, accusing Mark of being her ex-boyfriend, and then calling me a slut, and, like, wouldn't give us the tickets, and all this stuff, and this guy's like, oh my god, that's crazy, did she text you this morning? And I was like, yeah, I texted her, she didn't respond, and he's like, oh my god, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna do nothing, because it's an April Fool's prank.
Oh, shit.
Got the tickets, see you tomorrow.
That's Bad News Bears right there. Speaking of Bad News Bears, because that's the saying we use a lot.
Yeah.
Sam Davis and I were talking the other day in broadcast history, and we're like, what do you say for, like, the good version of Bad News Bears?
So it's not Good News Bears.
No, it's Good News Geese.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you come up with it?
We did. And then when it's not bad news bears or good news skis, it's decent news ducks.
Decent news ducks.
Dude, come on, you love that.
So you're going for the birds and then there's bears randomly.
Yeah, birds and the bears, you know, almost.
That's like the birds and the bears.
Okay, so Sunday. Oh wait, no, I gotta talk about my April Fool's.
Yeah, you do.
I was at my friend's place last night, and he was moving into his new condo today, and he's living with 2 other girls, and basically, it was someone's idea for him to text them and say that there were like holes in the walls and the carpet was a disaster,
God.
and that they had to like call it off and stuff. And the first girl, like, seemed unfazed by it. She was like, it's whatever, we'll move in eventually.
She's like, whatever, there's holes
She's
in
like,
the
that's
walls.
2 weeks from now, if we have to move in 2 weeks from now, it's cool. The second girl was like, she bought it too, but it was weird because, like, Dylan was pretending to cry and shit, and then, like, she was like, yeah, it was crazy, but Laura, who was, like, watching on, like, started laughing and, like, blew the cover, so it was like, damn.
Man.
But,
I used to be so good at pranks. Last year, my friend and I were shopping, and I got my boyfriend to call her and act, because she models.
Okay.
And I got him to call her and act like he worked at the sex shop and be like, I saw your photos, like, we're really interested in hiring you, and, like, all this stuff. And she started crying. We were both in the gap, and she's on the phone, and I was like, oh shit, because I knew that, I knew that he called, so like, I started walking away from her, and she started walking towards me, and then she's like, starts crying, she looks at me, she's like, oh my god, some creep just called me saying he works at the sex shop, and like, wants me to work there, and like, make videos and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so scared, she's like, this is how models get raped, like, all this stuff. I started laughing, and she's like, don't laugh, Katie, this isn't funny, and I was like, yes it is. She's like, this isn't funny. I was like, yes it is. She's like, why? I was like, because it's an April Fool's prank. Ha! She's like, what the hell?
That's actually...
That was a good one.
Holy shit, that's really good.
That was a good one.
Okay, so that was April Fool's Day. It was pretty crazy. Sunday night, which was this week.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what was up?
The Sunday that just happened, me and Ian were seat fillers at the Junos.
We were.
Woo!
You know, what are we, W-list celebrities now?
Oh yeah, we're W-list celebrities because I got to sit beside the great Neil Young.
Congratulations.
And I was twice, my friends. Once because I went down and sat beside him, and there was like this man in between us, and he looked famous, and I was like, who is this guy? And he goes to grab my leg, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought you were Melanie. And I was like, oh, yeah, no worries. And I'm just sitting there, and he starts making conversation with me, and I tell him that I'm in, like, school for television and stuff.
Who was telling you that? Who were you?
This man that was sitting beside me who looked
See the guy who presented the award?
Yeah! He turns out to be Daniel Lanois, who is this crazy, like, producer who produced for U2, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, and we just had random chats. Meanwhile, Neil Young is sitting right beside him, who's just like listening in and nodding at me, and being like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Oh my god!" He's freaking out. And then the lady whose spot I was sitting in turned out to be like one of the like chief like representatives of the Juno Awards.
Holy crap, that's big news, bears.
Huge news.
Yeah.
And then I ended up sitting behind him afterwards and being on television. So you can look for me.
Yeah, you can see her. Actually, why don't we put up a graphic right now?
You should.
Of Katie, there you go. At the
cute.
Yeah, you do.
Nice.
You know, you're like mid clap and stuff.
I look so off.
That's a big moment. I didn't get to sit beside
moment.
anyone too important. There was one guy who looked like Gene Simmons that I sat beside.
I think I saw him.
He was like some sort of music producer. I'm assuming, just by the way he acted. He was really into some of the groups. Though.
The Junos were really good this year.
Yeah, they were, but okay, don't lie. At some points, you were kind of bored. Some
parts, but like I actually thought like when I looked through the whole list of like performers and like nominees and stuff, like there were some good.
It's decent. It's just
people.
it's not mainstream and it's not A-list,
no.
but it's good stuff. And
but I mean, it's like Canadian music is almost like the hipster of the world.
It is. Oh, absolutely, no question.
I think.
So the guy I was sitting beside, the Gene Simmons guy, there was a seat filler to my right. I'm not going to mention who it was, but I don't know how he heard about the seat filler position. But
I forget.
He was like to me like, "Yo, Ian, do you think the guy sitting next to you will like know where the after party is?" And I was like, "Dude, you're not supposed to talk to these people, you know?" Like, no. Just goes, "Hey, so where's the place to be after the Junos?" I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god.
I'm gonna get fired.
I was like rocking back and forth in my seat, like sweating profusely.
Because here's the thing, we got strict rules when we got these jobs.
Like, these rules are strict. I couldn't check my cell phone.
No, I was checking my cell phone anyways, though, which is awful. But you're not supposed to check your cell phone. You're not allowed to take pictures.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to just talk to any celebrities.
You're just supposed to be, just supposed to be an object.
You're an
and
object
I was cool with
taking
that.
up a seat.
I did check my phone a few times, like when Arcade Fire was performing. My sister was like, "That's my boyfriend's cousin's girlfriend on stage." I was like, "No way!" I'm like distantly related to Arcade Fire. Partially, you know, because they're probably gonna get married, and then I'll be officially related. And then, so yeah, you know, rock on.
And speaking of Arcade Fire, me and Ian are now both obsessed.
We're both obsessed. I was playing it right when she walked into the studio.
And I was playing it right before I walked into the studio.
It's good. If you haven't checked it out, you really should.
You should.
I was never a fan just because I didn't really like the name Arcade Fire.
That's
like it rubbed me the wrong way, you know.
But if you haven't listened to them, you should definitely check it out. They're pretty awesome.
They are. The Lady in the Gown.
The Lady in the Gown.
Explain this.
Oh, goodness. So, Ian and I, we met up with our friends at this place, and then they all took cabs, and we walked to the Junos, which was at the ACC. We got there first.
Yes, we did.
And so we're sitting in line, and we're standing in line. It's the biggest line.
Oh, yeah, there were 1,000 seats.
Biggest line. There's this lady in a full ballroom gown.
And don't get us wrong, we were dressed nicely, you know.
Yeah, but I was in like a semi-casual fancy dress.
And I was wearing, you know, black pants with like, you know, this with a blazer, but it wasn't like, you know, I was going to prom or a wedding. It was, you know, casual.
She looked like she was wearing a bridesmaid's dress.
Yeah.
In full brown with like the thing that goes over the shoulders.
Sash, that was the deal breaker right there. Yeah, holy crap.
We should have got a picture of her because she was good.
Oh god, Lady in the Gown.
Lady in the Gown, so she was our new hashtag for the rest of the night.
And yeah, what about the sprint? That was ridiculous.
The sprint.
Remember when they were like, go to section...
Oh my god.
Okay, because we were waiting, but if you watch the Junos, when Arcade Fire, or not, like Headley and Now with Webster were performing and Drake at the beginning of the show, we were behind the stage in complete darkness.
We didn't see it.
Waiting. We heard it, but we didn't see it, because we were waiting to be seated. And we went to one spot, we went to Shania Twain's section, and they only needed so many seat fillers at that section. So eventually, they took 5 of us or something like that and said, you have to go to...
Section 6 or something.
Section 6, Neil Young section or something. Like, they didn't say Neil. We just found that out after. We sprinted across the ACC, like, in our formal attire.
Formal attire.
It was awful, but it's kind of fun at the same time.
But we got to Section 6, and they said no. They didn't need us.
They didn't know what they were talking about.
They sent us to, like, Section 12.
Yeah.
We got to Section 12, they were like, oh, we don't need you. And we're like, so where do we go then?
Do we just go home?
So we just went back to Section 6, and then...
The rest was history. I was sat in my seat for mostly the whole show. Like, when Shania Twain came out, I was from then on to the end of the Junos. I didn't move seats.
I was in the very front row when Shania Twain came out.
No, you were not.
I was sitting beside Neil Young when she walked right
in
front
serious?
of us. Yeah.
Shit. How did that happen, man? Christ.
I told you, I'm going to die soon. I'm way too lucky.
Yo, it's true. Like, I feel the same way. We are really privileged.
We had these chats. This is the thing.
On our way back from the Junos.
Yeah, I have this paranoia that, like, I'm way too lucky for no reason. And I don't, like... I haven't earned it. I'm not working my ass off to, like, be, like, good.
I feel the same way.
And, like, I don't deserve to be lucky, so I feel like life is just giving me all this luck at once because I'm going to die in, like, 2 days.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's like the end must be near because our lives are being
because it's like, I'm getting sweetness right now, and, who knows what's going to happen.
Listen, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the show. Coming up next, we're going to talk about moving out of res, our plans for next year's living, and best moments of year 1. We'll be right back.